everybody. How is everybody doing?
Hi.
Hey,
Welcome to Transgurus. First of all, thanks a lot for so many subscriptions. I am I found it absolutely fantastic. I really do, and I think all our gurus do that too. And thank you for following us. So tonight we are going to talk about assumptions or what
Mhm.
we make as assumptions, and I think it is in a positive way, okay? So I let Bobby start
Oh,
the
thank you.
debate.
Well, it's so good to be here with everybody, and I always look forward to hearing what you have to say. And I thought I'd clean up a little bit for tonight because we got over 25,000 subscribers, which tells me there's a lot more people that are watching. They just haven't subscribed yet. So
Mm.
uh, if that applies to you, please subscribe because it really means a lot, and it just feeds into the to our energy to know that people are thinking that there's something of substance here, and keep coming back. So I'm really grateful for that, and I'm really grateful for each one of you, Jimmy and Raji and Ella, for pulling us together every week and coming up with great ideas for us to talk about. A friend had sent me something earlier this week that just had to do with the stories we tell ourselves, the assumptions that we make every day, and it was really neat. It started out, what if I assume nobody's mad at me? What if I assume lots of people would like to be my friends? What if I assume uh, that people are going to enjoy their interactions with me? What if I assume, and on the converse of that, um, I have so many friends that complain about um, just the bone crushing loneliness that they're living in, and when I start to ask about that, they tell me stuff. Well, I'm like 70 years old. I'm on government assistance, and they start telling me all of these things about um, that sound like they assumed I'm not going to be happy and I'm always going to be lonely. And that really bothers me because those assumptions that we wake up with every day are are really treacherous. You know, um, I can't get all caught up in like, oh, I just, as a matter of fact, I had a birthday on this last Sunday. I turned 74 years old. Now, I could tell myself that I am over the hill. Nobody wants to be around me. I assume that the best is all behind me. And why in the world would I tell myself something like that? I mean, really, it's like, no, I am getting stronger and smarter and more passionate every day. And I assume that I'm going to have a great day. Whenever I go out, I assume good things are going to happen. I assume that I'm going to be interacting with a lot of people in my neighborhood, and those are going to be pleasant interactions. I assume that I will see people that I can encourage, that I can give them a little bit of personal attention, and it'll make their day. It's like, oh gosh, somebody sees me, and I just kind of assume I'm going to have an adventure every day. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I look forward to leaving my house every day, and I look forward. I mean, even the most mundane stuff, like I've got to go to the store and pick up some blueberries when we're done. I'm out of blueberries, and I am expecting. I assume that that is going to be a fun trip, and I'm going to run into somebody I know or some clerk, and we're going to talk. And I'm going to be glad, and they're going to be glad that we had that encounter. And so I thought it was really important to just have a talk about where our assumptions are, our mindset. It's like how we, the stories that we tell ourselves. about why things are the way they are. And those can have a powerful influence on us for great things or for mediocrity. And I think that's the thing that I'm hearing the most of. We have been under a barrage for the last 2 years of people trying to make us feel like we're a threat or uh, uh, our sexuality is something to be ashamed of. If you don't fight that stuff. You say, oh, no way in the world I'm going to let you. No, I do not consent to making you feel like there's anything. I mean, you cannot make me feel like there's anything I should be ashamed of. Don't even try. But the messages that we are getting right now are making a lot of people fearful and making a lot of people feel like isolating and feel hopeless. And it's like, don't do that. You are falling into this trap. That is what uh, oligarchs and fascist type of people. That's what they want you to do. They want you to believe that you don't have any power. And so maybe with that little bit of introduction, I'll turn it back to you, Willa.
Okay. No, I understand what you're talking about. I really do. Okay, carrying on this assumption discussion, who wants to go next? Jimmy, would you like to go?
Sure. So welcome everybody. We have a quorum tonight. It's nice to see everybody.
Good.
And like Dr. Bobby was talking about, as our page grows, that kind of lets us know that we're providing valuable content to our community. And there's a world of wisdom right here. And we're here to share some of these experiences and wisdom that we have learned along the way. And we always try to pick a topic that is open-ended, like assumptions. And I was thinking about this. I didn't learn about this topic until just before we went on the air, and we really didn't have a chance to get warmed up. So here we are. But when we assume something, is like it's our interpretation of an event that just occurred. Like, you give somebody a Christmas present and you assume they're going to like it or not like it. Or an assumption is a predictable read on a situation. And I think human nature, I think Bobby was alluding to this, human nature is that we typically assume for the worst. So the idea is to train ourselves. An assumption is a guess. An assumption is a guess as to what's going to happen. So we need to discipline ourselves to train our mind that we, like Bobby was talking about, we assume the best is going to occur. And Bobby, what is that? There's a saying that you have that I usually write it down.
Proceed as if success is inevitable.
Yeah. So that's the ultimate assumption.
Yeah, proceed as if success is inevitable. Yeah.
Proceed as if success is inevitable. That is the ultimate assumption. So live our lives, if we're going to assume things, assume that success is inevitable. And then we live our lives in such a way that that becomes a reality. I'm a firm believer in the notion that humans through thought can cultivate our own reality. So if we live our lives in such a way that success is inevitable, regardless of what road we go down, the universe will bend itself to make that a reality. And I see it in my life countless times every day where, and I was talking to my daughter about this the other day. They're like at a crossroads. There's many, many directions my daughter and her husband can go right now. Mm-hmm. And I alluded to the fact that movie Castaway with Tom Hanks. At the end of that movie, he's in a crossroads in the middle of Arizona or Wyoming somewhere. And I think one of the inspiring inspiring things that helped him survive on that island was that package with the angel wings on it. So he's got this package with the angel wings on it, and he's standing in the middle of the intersection, in the middle of nowhere, trying to figure out which way to go. Do I go down this road, this road, this road, or this road? And then an old pickup truck goes by with the angel wings painted on the back. And that's the what direction he went. So if we live our life that success is inevitable, the universe will bend itself to make that a reality. And the more we believe in this concept, the more that it's going to happen. If there's a shadow of doubt, the universe is going to throttle back. But if you believe wholeheartedly that we are at one with the universe and all roads lead to the same place, you can't go wrong. It's the power of belief is the mechanism that makes that success inevitable. Ella.
I do believe you're absolutely right. And assumptions is probably a very interesting word, I would say, because I think what we're talking even more when we're talking about assumption here is the power of belief. And I really do believe in the power of belief. Raji.
Hi, everybody. I've been away for a few weeks. I missed you all. And it's so good to know that we're growing. People are listening to us and we're resonating with people. We do this with passion and we speak from our souls, you know? So, well, self-talk and assumptions. You know, every single person on the planet does self-talk. You might not realize you're doing it, but from the minute we wake up, we're talking to ourselves. And a lot of times in this self-talk, we make assumptions. And there's a saying, maybe some of you out there know it. When I assume I make an ass out of you and an ass out of me, it's that saying. I've heard that often. You know, I think too, our assumptions are based on maybe our experiences. And what I found with me is because I had some not so good experiences along the way. And I think every human being can speak to like a time or a situation or an event that wasn't pleasant or wasn't a good thing for them. And what we tend to do is we base it on past experiences. So like, if something bad happens to you, you have this thing where you're thinking, oh, it's got to happen again. You know, this bad thing's got to happen again. Instead of declaring and saying, okay, that bad thing happened, but that doesn't mean that it has to continue to happen to me. And that's where the power of thought comes in. We human beings have the power of thought. And our thoughts are powerful and they truly can move mountains. And, you know, it works. The law of attraction, our creating, it works whether you use it intentionally or you use it by default. It works. It's just continuously working. So from my experience, if you want to have like an optimal life, you know, it's probably a good idea to use the law to your benefit and use it in a way that's going to be positive, impacting, have a positive impact on your life. And so as I've lived life, I've learned to do it. And practice makes perfect. You know, we're used to a certain thing. We have a habit of maybe thinking negative or doing negative self-talk or making negative assumptions. It's just as easy. And I say that with, again, practice makes perfect, because when you're used to a certain pattern, no, it's not easy in the beginning to flip it. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. Easy in the sense that instead of thinking like, oh my God, this day is going to be horrible. It's just as easy to say, you know what? Today's going to be a good day. Just declare it. Declare it that it's going to be a good day no matter what for you. And so I've practiced and practiced, and I think I'm getting better at it. And when I catch myself sometimes, because I will catch myself in my self talk, and I do it a lot in the morning, when I'm getting ready, and I'll catch myself, oh, that wasn't a very good thought. That wasn't like really, why am I thinking that? You can cancel it because, see, the thought is just, it's like, in the beginning, it's like you're sparking a match, but if you continue to fuel that match, it's going to turn into an inferno. But if you just strike it, you strike the match and you blow it out and you replace it with a positive thought, then it's not going to have really any major impact on your life. I was watching Sunday Morning, I think it was Sunday Morning, which is a TV show here in America on Sundays. And I like it because it's very eclectic and they cover different topics. But one of the topics was on aging. And, it being more of a state of mind. Now, oh God, Jane Fonda, and she had another dynamic woman with her. They're on this like initiative to empower people with like your positive thinking and as you age. And she used the example of like, when you start to get older and you forget something. Oh, I'm having a senior moment. Yeah, I'm having a senior moment. Like you declare, oh, I'm getting old. She says when she was 16 in high school and she lost her keys and she couldn't remember where they were, she didn't say, I'm having a senior moment. She didn't say, I'm having a junior moment. Her point was, we all forget, along the way. So if you're getting older and you're forgetting, why declare that it's a senior moment? You just forgot and you'll remember, and so that was one example of like her and how you perceive and how you view something. And it was really wonderful because, a lot of people, I think after a certain age, they just get this mentality like, well, I guess I have to start walking out the pasture. It's like, I'm old and I can't do this and I can't do that. But they were saying that, at every point in one's life, it is an opportunity to, manifest things and to live your best life as long as you have breath and you're here on the planet, so that doesn't have to stop at any particular age. It doesn't have to stop at 40 or 50 or 60. It can continue in different ways. So that's what I have to say so far, and I'm going to send it back to Ella.
Okay, my turn.
Your turn. It's your turn.
I like what you've people have said because you're absolutely correct in many, many, many respects. But in reality, assumptions are not negative or positive. It's the way you put them. You can have negative and positive assumption. I do believe that what you told Raji that if you assume you are making an ass of you and me, which is a very old saying, which I've heard very many times. But what we're talking about assume here is not exactly that type of assumption. It's more like a wish, how to describe your future, how to make positiveness. And I'm talking about positive assumptions because this is the way I like. I agree with you, Raji, too, that, yeah, sometimes you've got the negative moments. It's normal. I've got them every day, which is actually probably not a negative moment, but you are assuming you cannot do it. And that's by itself negative. So, yes, you just go like this. Oh, get it. Get it. That was a little thing. Oh, forget it. You had a little moment of piety. And that is, you don't need that. Throw it away. Throw it away. It's like a bad ghost which is hunting on you. Go out. I think that is something that we really should. I mean, I do it all the time. I, you know, sometimes I don't sleep so well, and I like to rest in bed and have my thoughts. And I've been doing that for all my life. I usually during the night, I know what I have to do during the day. So I have my thoughts, I've got my directives and directions. And I am a little bit of a crazy person in that respect because I don't take my, I don't look at any kind of um, retentions because I am the way I am. I just fight for what I want. I go all over the world being transgender in many, many places which are very, very, very transphobic.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I just carry on like nothing happened. Until now, I always was lucky and that everything has been going right. And I press my fingers at everything, I assume anyway, that everything will be okay. I'm going in a couple of weeks to Dubai, so that's going to be an interesting one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it's I've got all my papers okay and everything, so I don't
Can I
expect.
go? If I
Sorry?
cover my face, can I
Never.
go? Please, please. They won't know. Look at the eyes.
But it's I mean, it's the way that's the way it goes because I want to live my fullest life. I want to live um to do what I can do. As far as age is concerned, it's only on the paper. Of course, I've got my senior moments from time to time, like everybody else. But it's on the paper mostly. You assume sometimes that you cannot do, and you actually can do. And for me, there's something else about my um, refusing to accept is that, like that, I promote my own people. I have to say that I know a lot of people that know that, that I've known for way many, many years ago, and they know exactly what I am. But by bringing positiveness, you get positiveness back. By bringing positiveness to your daily life and to your daily contacts, you get positiveness back. I remember a couple of years ago, I was in this very large party in Switzerland and I was celebrating my 50th year of leaving high school. Of course, every single person in that place knew and knows that I'm transgender.
Mhm.
I mean, unless of course they never heard me or seen me before, but most of them did. I'm pretty famous in that place. And you know what? I had these gestures of people coming express to me to tell hi, and they never misgendered me. How are you doing? That's thankfulness. You can, I mean, I didn't assume that. I just presented myself the way I am, and I was glad that people respect me. That's the way we go, and that's the way we love. And hey, don't put yourself into dangerous, small what do you call that? Little cube places where you cannot go out. You can always go out. You can always do something. There are risks. Obviously, there are always risks. But you know what? Sometimes when we think bad, we attract the bad. When we think positive, we attract the positive. And it's always been like that.
Mhm.
So be positive, enjoy yourself. Hey, you know what? I had people as well in that school that are against me. I'm very clearly against me. Still, they come and talk with me.
Mhm.
Wow.
You know, probably they admire my guts. I don't know.
Mhm.
That is an assumption, by the way.
But
That's a good one. That's a good one.
that's a good assumption. They
Yeah.
admire, you said probably they admire my guts. That's a good one.
You know what? Hey, you are responsible for one thing alone in life, and it is yourself. And that is where you have to go.
Mhm.
And think positive, act positive, open your heart, and you will win. So this is from me who wants to go again.
Well, I'll just pick up because you all have brought so many things to mind. And, you know, I think this topic is important because right now our our world is trying to get us to diminish our expectations. It's trying to get us to experience fear uh, and eradication, really. Let's just say that. And and that's what I sense is that there's a lot of people telling themselves stories that it's like risk assessment. Everybody's going through fight, flight, or freeze, and there's all these scenarios and there's all these risk assessments and everything. But my bottom line is that somebody is trying to define me. Somebody is trying to turn me into a second class human being. Somebody is trying to tell me that uh, I'm a demonic. I mean, there's a lot of garbage out there, and we all know it. And the worst thing I could do, I think, is to disappear or freeze and it's like, oh, hell no, you are not going to do this to me. Who do you think you are? Why in this world do you want to make somebody feel inferior to yourself? And when you think about that, that's a person that has a problem. That's a person that wants to have some artificial means of a superiority and somebody that they're going to make inferior. And right now we're the flavor of the month. And it's like, I'll be damned if I'm going to let you get away with that. No. And and I'm supposed to get all self-conscious about my age and all of this stuff. And it's like, no, no, I'm like a bottle of Dom Perignon champagne, man.
That's
I am worth
right.
I am worth more every year, and I am a catch. I believe that. I assume that I am a catch, and and that I'm not, some just invisible kind of second class. No, I'm not going to believe that for a second. And so, I assume that that people are going to enjoy being around me, enjoy my company. And a really neat thing happened uh, in the last week. Two really neat things happened. One was, and I might have mentioned it, but I got a call from my congressman's office,
Hmm.
and I was driving home, and it's like, well, this doesn't happen very often. and
Yeah.
and and it was like, we're really concerned about how the LGBTQ plus community is doing post election, and could you come in Monday and talk to us about what's going on? How are people feeling? What are they thinking? So that so we did, and he had 11 of us. He had 11 of us in there to talk to him about that. And it's like, this is what we're seeing. And okay, well, what do we have? What can I do to mitigate the consequences of some of those things? So if healthcare is starting to look like this, what can I do to mitigate damage to healthcare? What can I do to mitigate damage to Medicare? What can I do to protect the medical professionals in my state that are being tempted to leave? And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm in a room with somebody that wants to know my thoughts about this, and somebody that's really trying to mitigate as much damage as possible. That was something I didn't expect, and I was really grateful. There's not a lot of good news, but the good news is there are there are about half of us in this country are going to put up a stink, and we're going to fight back. The other thing that happened was I've been here in my little condo community for a long time now, and one of the city commissioners was driving through the parking lot, and she wanted to stop. She rolled down her window to talk to me. She said, "I am just so happy that you live here, and I want you to know you've got more friends than you will ever believe." And
Wow.
I, and I thought, oh my God, you don't know how much I needed to hear that. It was just out of the blue. She was just driving by and saw me outside, and she drove around to roll it down her window and talk to me because she wanted me to know I got more friends than I would believe. And that is a really good assumption. It's like now it's like I can wake up, oh, I've got more friends than I have imagined. And I want to believe that because she stopped and told me that. And and anyhow, there were a couple of things like that that really surprised me this past week. But I think they all fit in with kind of reinforcing and validating those assumptions that we have every day. It's it it is a time to be bold. It is a time to say, no, you are trying to demand conformity out of everybody in this society, and that is wrong. We are so diverse and we are so gifted, and demanding conformity and white supremacy is like, oh my God, stop it
Oh,
right
come
now.
on.
Yeah, and so uh, people are threatened by us, and they should
Yeah,
be,
they are.
because we're not putting up with that crap.
Yeah.
And that's just really, it's like the assumption that people are looking to us, and we do have friends. And the worst thing we can do right now is to cave in. And so that's it. I'll quit. So,
I've got a theory about that, There's a pendulum. One side it goes on one, and the other side goes the other. And don't
yeah,
forget one thing. Actually, what they're doing is a hell of a lot of promotion for transgender people. And all of a sudden, so many people are realizing that they've got a transgender friend somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy, you go.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of stuff, and uh, Bobby said, fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, those are options if we live in the 3D world.
Mhm,
Elevate yourself to live in the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
In the fifth dimension, none of this exists.
mhm,
There are multiple realities occurring at the same time on top of one another. The 3D world, the third dimension, fight, flight, or freeze are the options. In the fifth dimension, you won't find it necessary to make that decision because all things live in harmony.
mhm,
And Ella was talking about life is a mirror. What we project, we get back. And Raji was talking about how to rewire your brain. So, to rewire our brain to the extent that we assume that success is inevitable, when we have a thought, it's one synapse in the brain communicating with another synapse through an electrical circuit. So the synapses sharing negative thoughts, there's an electrical circuit. Think of it as a road. And then the synapses sharing positive thoughts are also a road. the electrical circuit that is sharing negative thoughts, we want to turn that into a dirt road. The synapses sharing positive thoughts, we want to turn that into an interstate highway. How do we do that? By exercising those synapses that are sharing positive thoughts, that road is going to grow. Another way to look at it is every time we share a positive thought in our brain with ourself is another thread. And then another positive thread, another positive thought is another thread. And by over time, you're going to come up with a unbreakable rope, a cable. And then at the same time, the synapses that share negative thoughts, those threads are going to deteriorate. So therefore, we rewired our brain. And the power of belief can work for us or it can work against us. It was Job in the Bible said, "What I fear most has come upon me."
Mm-hmm.
So we need to train the immense power of the human mind. And going back to our self-talk, our self-talk is not private. The universe is listening. Our thoughts have vibrations attached to them. So we're broadcasting these vibrations out in the ether. Our thoughts as vibrations are dancing with everyone else's thoughts as vibrations. And if our thought vibration has pure enough and enough emotion and enough energy behind it, our vibration can influence other thoughts and vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to vibrate above the fray. Yeah, a lot of the things that what Bobby's saying are occurring on the planet, but don't engage it. Don't live at that level. I live my life at a higher plane where I vibrate above all this nonsense. So it does not apply. I go somewhere, I interact with other people. It's a beautiful experience. And that reality is there for everybody. All you have to do is believe.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in the power of ourself, our thoughts, and just remember, never say anything bad about yourself. Never say anything bad about anybody else. Live your life by the 3 C's. Never condemn, complain, or criticize. Never condemn, complain, or criticize. Be prepared to eat the words of whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
Ella.
Oh, just real quick, Ella, Jimmy, I'm so glad you mentioned that because we are bombarded by media. It's like inescapable news cycle, and they know that, and they have algorithms that, especially on Facebook, that are designed to feed you news headlines that trigger fear and anger and outrage. And if I just look at the news, it's trying to make me scared. It's trying to make me feel under threat. And I've got all of this noise going on that just came through my phone or something radio. If I put that on the shelf and just stop and look at my daily life, the people I interact with, my neighborhood, I have a great life. Nothing bad ever happens. I go where I want to go, do what I want to do, talk to everybody I want to talk to. It's like I just have to turn that off because that's not real. That's not real. This world over here is real, and you're exactly right. Uh, uh, we're trying to be pressured to live in the third dimension, and we weren't created to live there.
Yeah, we need to evolve to the point that we have no triggers and we have no buttons. Yep. Live your life in such a way that there are no triggers. Yep. There are no triggers. And there are no buttons.
Raji.
So that's powerful. And thank God for the fifth dimension. Thank God. That's the thing that gives me solace, that there is a fifth dimension. We are in the earthly plane, however, and we're human. So anyone out there that's getting affected by these things, don't beat yourself up about it, because we do have a humanness and we're here in earthly realm. So it's normal in the sense, but if you want to rise above it, it's such a powerful thing to tap into that fifth dimension, because inevitably that's where we will be going. Like these bodies and this life is all temporary, but my spirit and my energy is eternal. And so that's where the power really is. But I see it. I went to Atlanta last week. No, sorry, the week before, and going through the airports, I felt it. A lot of miserable people, a lot of brazen people because of the outcome. They're walking around like, yes, we're in power and that sort of thing. I felt the energy and I saw it. I saw the looks and all of that. And as a human being, it's hard. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, oh, everything was hunky dory. No, no, no. I felt it and it did affect me on some level. However, I continue to stay steadfast in my spirituality, in the power of my beingness. And along the way, I came in contact with some really phenomenal people. I mean, even today, I was in Wilton Manors, which is an LGBTQ town, predominantly gay white men, but it's LGBT. And even in our community, I see it. I walk into spaces, and I was out and about. I had went to this restaurant, and I'm a very friendly person, and a lot of people know me. And I walk in, and the looks from gay men. I'm thinking, honey, like after they come for us, they're coming for you. Like, what is this attitude? But anyway, I didn't feed into it. I just carried on because I know I'm sunshine. I am sunshine. I've always been that from a little child. Smile, kind, willing to like extend myself. That's my natural state. That's what I am naturally. And so I'm not going to let someone dim my light. And I refuse to. And it can be challenging sometimes, but I stand strong in that. You're not going to freaking rain on my parade. You can sit there and be miserable and have your hateful thoughts and et cetera, but I'm not going to feed into it. And when I walked out the restaurant, I see this white gay man that I don't know him, like we're not really friends, but we're acquaintances, and I've seen him in the community. And he says to me, "How are you doing, beautiful?" He's like, every time I see you, it's like seeing sunshine. And so that are the moments. That is the moment. Those are the moments that I'm talking about. For all of you out there that it's really hard, you're finding it challenging, look for those moments and give your energy to those moments, not the other crappy BS hateful moments. Don't give your energy to that. Focus in on those sweet, divine, loving, tender, wonderful moments, and you'll attract more of them. Ella?
I want to see if I can kiss the top of
Ella,
your
hang
head.
on. Hang on.
Oh yeah, get your hand. But you're exactly right, Raji. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the more I think about what is the purpose of that, it is because in human form, we learn something about love that we can't learn in any other form. And that obviously has a lot of value.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you want to make sure you use your time wisely. And that love is what you go out of here being known for.
That to me is the thing that truly transcends us.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jimmy had to leave us, but I would just like to add one thing. And the one thing I'd like to add to Raji's words is that everybody, and this is not only transgender people, it's everybody in the world, has to open their umbrellas and protect them from the bad rain. You know what I mean? Everybody, sometime or another, if you are transgender, if you are gay, if you are whatever, if you are absolutely straight, there is sometimes this person which actually wants to sting on you, wants to be bad for you. And that's when you have to put up the umbrella or the protection shield that tells, I'm not allowing you to go in.
Mhm.
Because that's when you get hurt. And you shouldn't. Other people don't have the right to hurt you.
Mhm.
Simple as
Buddha has a great story about if someone comes up to you and offers you a gift and you refuse to accept it, to whom does that gift belong now? And that is exactly the way to look at that crap that people bring to you. It's like, I don't want that. Keep it.
I
It's
love
like, yeah,
that.
yeah, it's like,
Yes,
no, no, thank you.
you can keep that gift, honey. I don't want that gift.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's all right. You hold, and that's a way to look at insults and negative
Yeah.
people. It's like, oh, you're trying to give me something. Keep it.
I would just like, as final words and to finish for today, I would just like to tell something. Bobby, you told about what's going on right now about the transgender community. I think it is cyclic. It has been all the time. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we have, let's put it this way, a very negative and, you know, amount of people. But, on the long term, it'll go for us because people, I think they are promoting us, and they are promoting us as victims and good people.
Mhm.
So in the end, things will change.
I hope so. We're only 1 to 2% of the world population. We're a very small demographic.
Nope.
Really, that's what you pick on the small. What harm are we doing? 1 to 2%. So yes, I hope so, Ella, because this is the most hateful I've ever seen it here in this country. I've never seen it as this hateful as it is. So I'm holding on to what you just said, and I'm hoping that the pendulum swings really quickly the other way.
Don't forget, Raji, you know, the media has to sell.
Yeah,
They sell on what they think is trendy
yeah.
Mhm.
and what they think shocks people. So that's what they're doing.
Yeah, yeah, you're exactly right. And the information that's being collected on us is mind-boggling. It's like
Oh,
if
please.
you see a news story and you spend time reading it, and then you want to share it to your timeline or send it to a friend, all of that stuff is tracked. They know, ooh, what gets this person enough that they want to stream it out to everybody. And you're exactly right. We are being fed a whole bunch of crap
Mhm.
uh, because uh, it translates into uh, in our engagement with some kind of digital material, and that's how they make their money is by how much we are engaged with it, and that's the mistake. It's like be engaged with the real people around you. And I struggle with that. It's like be present, turn that crap off, because here's a human being that really needs you to be present. And I don't want to fall for that.
Okay, with those words, see you next week. And bye, everybody. It was really great to
Bye.
have you. And don't forget to subscribe. Bye.
Love, peace,
Bye,
and blessings.
everybody.